Running back's been a disaster all season. Now, on top of this, we are dealing with more injuries than ever. Now, on top of this, we are dealing with more bye weeks than ever. And I will tell you, this is about the grossest list of rankings you are going to see. Starting off tier one, I'm not going to rank Christian McCaffrey here. We will have Austin Eckler and Bijan Robinson as clear must-start RBs. I know Eckler was a little bit disappointing on Monday night. He went up against a tough defense. He saw the workload. He still pretty much had every snap. He had every single touch out of this backfield. Obviously, a very large receiving down role, which is going to come handy when you're trailing the Chiefs, and we know Herbert's going to have a ton of dropbacks. With Bijan, I know that people are disappointed for whatever reason. The man's averaging about 100 total yards per game. He's number 2 in the NFL in targets so far at the running back position. No hesitation. Now, obviously, the guy that I want to rank here in tier 1 is Christian McCaffrey. And there is an outside chance that CMC will play on Monday. I'm going to live stream every single day until then. And of course, I'll be keeping you updated. So just make sure you're subscribed to the channel. But I'm not going to rank Christian McCaffrey as if he's playing, because obviously if he plays, you start him. We already know that. Instead, for these rankings, I'm going to be looking at Jordan Mason as the starting RB in San Fran this week. Now, going over to tier 2, we will have Travis Etienne at number 3. Etienne actually leads all running backs in total touches in the NFL right now. Our guy, love to see it. And on top of that, you're looking at a situation where you may have Trevor Lawrence good to go on Thursday. Obviously, you want Lawrence. You want the Jags being able to effectively move the ball down the field. Now, Raheem Mostert will be our next running back at 4. With Mostert, tough matchup going up against Philly. Does it matter? No. Just like last week, just like this week, just like next week, he will be a must-start running back every single week until Devon Achane comes back. Even when Devon Achane comes back, you're still most likely going to be starting Raheem Mostert. This Miami and Philly game has the highest total of any game this weekend. So it should be the highest scoring contest, and I'm very excited. Now, going over to running back 5, we're going to be looking at Josh Jacobs, with Jacobs going up against a Chicago defense that honestly should be a pretty easy matchup. Game total here is extremely low. You do have the volume, though, with Jacobs. And this may be one of the very few games where we can say, oh, okay, the Raiders may actually be winning this game the entire time. I mean, the Chicago Bears are horrendous as is, and you go from Justin Fields to an even worse quarterback. So, I mean, yeah, maybe they can run the ball in the second half. You may not have Jimmy G. It may be Brian Hoyer. But nonetheless, Jacobs is number 1 in the NFL in targets currently. Now, Kenneth Walker will be our next running back at 6. With Walker, Geno Smith looked very bad this past week, and the Seattle offense struggled because of so. Should be a much better matchup going up against Arizona. We just saw what Kyron Williams did to this Arizona defense last week. And right now, last I checked, I believe the Seattle Seahawks are 7-8 point favorites in this game going up against the Arizona Cardinals. So they should be able to run it in the second half. And DeAndre Swift will be our next running back at 7. I think you can make an argument maybe to even move Swift a little bit higher than this. He is also top 5 in the NFL right now in targets at the running back position. Going up against Miami should be an extremely high scoring contest. Clearly, he's one of the very few guys you can feel good about starting this week. Now, dropping down to our next tier, we will have Saquon Barkley at 8. We've had a ton of questions regarding Saquon Barkley. I know Barkley got there against the Bills in a tough matchup with no Daniel Jones. And I would love to come out here and say, guys, I drafted so much Saquon Barkley during the contract dispute, and I want to root for him. I think he's going to be an RB1 going forward. I think he's going to be a top 5 guy. In reality, it's hard to tell that story, right? Because everybody can see how damn bad this Giants offensive line is. Everybody can see how bad this Giants team is overall. I mean, you're going up against Washington where you'd want to say, oh, okay, it's a game against the Washington Commanders. The Giants are favored in this game by 6 points. They should be able to run the ball in the second half. That's not the case. The New York Giants at MetLife are 2-point dogs here. Saquon does have a receiving role, so he will be something that we're looking to start, though. Then going over to Alvin Kamara at 9. Right now, we don't know the availability of Jamal Williams. Jamal Williams has been practicing. And if Jamal Williams does play, while Kamara has been dominating with volume over the past 3 weeks, and where you'd want to rank him a little bit higher than this, probably will be a little bit tougher to do so just with the addition of Jamal if he does play. And then, of course, in this game, if you want to check out any of these pick'ems on Underdog, my favorite right now is going to be Travis Etienne for more than 60.5 rushing yards. You can find that link in the description. You can find that link in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK, you are going to get a 100% deposit match, plus our rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers, and a Derek Carr special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So please make sure you are taking advantage of that. Now, going over to our, I want to say number one buy low guy right now. Aaron Jones is going to crush this week. Aaron Jones going up against the Denver Broncos. Should be fully healthy coming out of the bye week. Phenomenal matchup. This is a game where you really are just having to bet on Jordan Love. I mean, right now this game's going to be played in Denver, but the Packers are point and a half favorites. It's really a pick 'em game between these two teams. If you get good Jordan Love, Aaron Jones will be higher than this. Then Isaiah Pacheco will be our next running back at 11. Pacheco continuously expanding his role. Last week, he was the guy with the great matchup against Denver. Maybe a little bit disappointing for what you had last week, but still pretty good matchup against the Chargers. Now, dropping down to our next tier, this is where it gets disgusting. This is where it's like, oh, okay, we don't know about any of these rankings. The first 11 guys we start, no issue. Alexander Mattison will be our next RB. If you are looking at Madison, this is a running back that I was very concerned about the Cam Akers usage. However, Cam Akers came out and did absolutely nothing this past week. I mean, Cam Akers actually dropped back. I think he only played about 9-ish snaps. Madison is also top 5 in the NFL in targets right now at the running back position. But the issue that I have is, okay, even if you're that bell cow back now, you're going up against San Fran. You're not particularly good. I mean, it's a horrendous matchup against the 49ers. Now, our next guy with Ramondre Stevenson, obviously we have clear concerns here. You're going up against the Buffalo Bills. It's a very tough matchup. You're in one of the worst offenses in the NFL. You've been a very inefficient running back this season, and you're in a committee with Ezekiel Elliott. Not excited about it. Going over to Brian Robinson. With Brian Robinson, this is a running back that we can say, oh, okay, you're going up against the Giants. You're 2-point favorites. But still, it's not like you're seeing 5 receptions a game out of the backfield. It's not like you're a hyper efficient running back. It's not like you're in a great offense. You have a decent matchup. You're favored. You have the guaranteed touches, so we will rank you here. The Rachaad White running back with a guaranteed role. Rachaad White getting guaranteed targets out of this backfield as well. You like the role, but the offense doesn't look great. The matchup against Atlanta, this should be a lower scoring game overall where we know the Falcons want to run the ball and slow the pace of play down. James Cook going up against New England. With James Cook, I mean, he has just consistently been on the decline in terms of his overall usage. Looks like this team may not be in love with Cook's profile and that they're going out there and they're exploring the possibility of Leonard Fournette coming in. There's some rumors saying that they're going to visit with Fournette, that Fournette's not going to visit. The fact that they're even talking about it, I don't like it. Then Jonathan Taylor at 17. I want to say, okay, Taylor's going to continue to expand his role. We've seen it for 2 weeks now. He's on that upward trajectory. Love the talent profile. Could be a small bounce back spot for the Indianapolis Colts. But you look at this and go, okay, well, they're going up against a Cleveland Browns defense that just shut down San Francisco. They're going up against one of the toughest defenses in the NFL. Zach Moss still has a role. So it's hard to be excited about this matchup. Going over to Jahmyr Gibbs, we can say, oh, okay, well, you have no David Montgomery. Jahmyr Gibbs, coaching staff's coming out saying that he should be good. I mean, we saw him lead the Detroit Lions in receptions the first week Montgomery missed last time. Then he had like 18 carries the following week. But still, he's coming off a hamstring injury. He's done pretty much, I mean, nothing over the past few weeks. Clearly, this coaching staff doesn't love him. He'll split the backfield with Craig Reynolds. Zach Moss, our next guy. Zach Moss saw 50% of the backfield in Indianapolis. His usage was on the downwards trend. Plus, it's a horrendous matchup, just like we got done saying with Jonathan Taylor. Jordan Mason at 20, we can say, oh, okay, yeah, no CMC. Obviously, CMC may play on Monday, which is why we are going to have Mason a little bit lower, because the issue is play on Monday. We're not going to have this clarity on Christian McCaffrey. I mean, maybe until Monday. I don't know. And even if CMC were to miss, hell, you may end up having Elijah Mitchell take the backfield. I'm assuming that the coaching staff's going to give us a lot more information over the next few days. So I will get y'all an updated list with our flex rankings come Friday. And there is an outside chance that by that point, it looks like Jordan Mason is locked into the starting role, and it looks like he is locked into a considerable amount of work. And then if that were to happen, then at that point, we could move Jordan Mason up. Just super risky to make that call right now. Jerome Ford, our next running back at 21. You can say, well, Mason, come on. Jerome Ford's getting the majority of the work in Cleveland. Ultimately, he's splitting the backfield with Kareem Hunt. I mean, we said this when we called Jerome Ford a sell-high guy back when he had multiple touchdowns against Tennessee. But I don't think he is a talented enough running back to thrive in a running back by committee type situation. If Kareem Hunt was not getting involved and he was getting everything in the backfield, then yes, we can be excited to go through and start Jerome Ford. However, while we're still waiting, it is definitely tougher than Roschon Johnson at 22. With Roschon, this is a running back that we can say, oh, okay, he has the receiving down role, but he's in the worst offense in the NFL, arguably. Plus the fact that Deonta Foreman's going to be splitting the backfield with him as well. Now, clearly you can tell by these rankings, I'm going to go Roschon over Foreman. I mean, both these guys, hook 'em horns, we got to throw them up. I think Roschon will have the receiving down role, which is why in a full PPR format, I'll be more excited. But still, nonetheless, I mean, it's hard to be too optimistic about these guys. And Zach Evans, Javonte Williams, Zach Evans, he may be the starting running back in Los Angeles, but right now we really haven't had too many reports coming out of LA. All we know is you have no Ronnie Rivers, you have no Kyron Williams, so it probably has to be somebody here. Javonte Williams, this is a running back that ultimately is in a 3-man running back by committee and one of the worst offenses in the NFL. You're still getting Samaje Perine usage. Jaleel's still getting used out there. Do I want a running back in a 3-man backfield? Probably not. Jalen Warren at 25 and Najee Harris 26. These guys are splitting the backfield damn near 50-50. And we've been talking about this for the past a month or so now. But it's like very difficult to go out there and look at Jalen Warren and Najee Harris as anything more than like premium handcuff backs, right? Because say you were to have Jalen Warren go down in Pittsburgh, then at that point, Najee Harris must start guy. You have no Jalen Warren. Najee Harris, we can rank as a low-end RB1, high-end RB2. Even if he's going to be inefficient, he is just going to get a ridiculous amount of volume. And then same thing with Jalen Warren. Najee Harris goes down. Bump up Jalen Warren. Jalen Warren at that point is a low-end RB1, high-end RB2. And yeah, Jalen Warren's going to get all the volume, and he'll probably be even a little bit more efficient than Najee would be with it. But while these guys are healthy, if they're splitting this backfield 50-50 and an offense that we're not too excited about, where you're having to travel to Los Angeles, you're 3-point dogs against the Rams, it's hard to be that excited about these players. Craig Reynolds at 27. I mean, obviously a pickup. If you add Montgomery and you have nobody else to play, you can go through and you can start Craig Reynolds. But ultimately, at the end of the day, if Jahmyr Gibbs is going to go, Jahmyr Gibbs should most likely see the high-value touches with the targets out of the backfield. And at the same time, Craig Reynolds just isn't a talented running back. You're in an elite offense behind an elite offensive line. But last week, we saw just the absolute inefficiency from a player that has been fighting for a roster spot year in, year out of his NFL career. Obviously, he's more talented at the game of football than I am at anything in my entire life, but still not a great NFL running back and splitting the backfield. Gus Edwards at 28. I mean, you have everybody in my live stream screaming at me that you're going to have Keaton Mitchell coming out. That Keaton Mitchell's, I don't freaking know. I don't think Keaton Mitchell's going to be a thing, but hell, can turn into a 3-man running back by committee in Baltimore. And if it does turn into a 3-man running back by committee, you're probably not too excited about any of these guys, even if maybe Gus Edwards is the top dog here. Now going over Keontae Ingram, it's kind of already in that 3-man running back by committee in Arizona. With Keontae Ingram going up against Seattle, you're an 8-point dog, 7.5-point dog. So it's like, okay, well, you're in a horrendous offense. You're going to be trailing the entire game. You're in a 3-man running back by committee. You're not an efficient running back. I don't know. Tyler Algier, our next guy. Algier is literally just getting nothing at all in the receiving game. That's all going to Bijan Robinson. Bijan Robinson at the same time is getting the high value looks inside the red zone. Algier did have his random pop-off week at the beginning of the season, but I think he's kind of in that same mold of like Jalen Ward and Najee Harris. You got to roster the guy, right? And if you're desperate, you can go out there and play him. But the primary value that you're getting with Tyler Algier is just that if you were to see a Bijan Robinson injury, then at that point, obviously Algier is a league-winning running back. Now, Salvador Ahmed coming in at 31. This is a running back that may move up our flex rankings later in the week. I just want to see what this depth chart's going to look like in Miami, if Jeff Wilson Jr. is going to play or not. I don't want to go out there and call him like a very interesting low-end RB2 just based off the offense he's in, if ultimately at the end of the day, the volume we want to project him to have may not be there. The Kareem Hunt at 32. If you are looking at Kareem Hunt, this is a running back that scores a touchdown last week and saves us in so many underdog best ball drafts. Trust me, I have a lot of round 18 Kareem Hunt. But at the same time, going forward, it's like, okay, well, Jerome Ford's the lead back here. Hunt's not an efficient RB here. It's just touchdown or bust. Deonta Foreman at 33, probably not going to be the lead back. I think it will be Roschon Johnson. And you're not going to receive anything as a pass catcher. You're going to be in a horrendous offense. Justice Hill at 34. You possibly have to worry about what we may end up getting with this Baltimore split if Keaton Mitchell begins to get involved and it's a 3-man running back by committee. So top to bottom, the running back position is disgusting. I know that you're probably having a hard time figuring out who to start, and it's okay because everybody else is in that same boat with you. I don't feel super confident with these rankings, so I'm going to give you that updated flex list on Friday, especially as we get some more news regarding these injuries. But of course, if you haven't done so already, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. And if you want to check out my favorite pick'em for this week, Travis Etienne, more than less than 60.5 total yards on Underdog Fantasy. You can find that link over in the description and the comment section. Promo code FLOCK, you're going to get a 100% deposit match, plus our rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers. And on top of that, a Derek Carr special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard for Thursday night. So please make sure you take advantage. But thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. I really do appreciate you. Really hope you have a great day, and really hope we get to see you out in a live stream later tonight.